the cars roll out for the pace laps, there is no doubt stock car racing is the nation's fastest growing and the South's #1 sport. 59,000 fans are at the 1963 World 600. It is easily the largest sports crowd ever assembled in North Carolina. The day is partially overcast, the temperature 80 degrees. Perfect for fan comfort and perfect for speed. The packed grandstand teems with tension, and it's as divided as there are different makes of automobiles in the field. Chevrolet fans keep their fingers crossed for Wildman Jr. Johnson in the white #3. Will he go, then blow? That's been the pattern in previous races for the man who's starting in position #1. The Plymouth herd watches the blue #43 of Richard Petty. He's starting in 18th place. Pontiac hopes are plastered on 7th starting Joe Weatherly in the red #8. Dodge fans are supporting David Pearson in the white #6. And Mercury backers are counting on Darrell Derringer, #26. But the Carolinas is good Ford country, where the word fastback is replacing the word fatback in breakfast table conversation. Fair-haired boy of this flock is Fred Lorenzen in the Holman Moody prepared white #28. He'll start alongside Johnson on the front row. Choice starting spots are crammed with Fords. In the second row are Marvin Panch, #21, and Fireball Roberts, #22. As the cars come off the fourth turn, 59,000 fans rise to their feet, and 90,000 tons of machinery roar toward the green flag. It's Johnson, barreling into the backstretch at better than 140 miles per hour, with a flood of Fords on his tail. Panch, Lorenzen, and Roberts. Then come Weatherly, Banjo Matthews, #13 in a Chevy, and Stacy. Johnson promised he'd run as fast as necessary to lead. And brother, talk about delivering. Johnson's 10-lap average speed is a fabulous 140.992 miles per hour. To go or no at the beginning? That's the question. Johnson and Panch answer by pouring it on. Lorenzen is falling back slightly, and Petty's blue Plymouth is moving up. Johnson has shaken every pursuer but Panch, and riding in third place is Weatherly, closely trailed by Roberts. The early strategy has been established. Here's action on the home stretch. Buck Baker's tire blew. Larry Frank swerved to miss him, putting both cars out of control. Jim Pascal couldn't find a hole and crashed into Baker. Baker apparently is combing his worries away. The veteran, who has known success, also knows how it is to be on the other side of the pasture. Baker's, Pascal's cars are eliminated. Frank's car is crippled. He may continue in the race, but he'll be a forgotten man. 59,000 fans wonder who's next to go. Leader Johnson is about the only man to maintain his position the next 20 laps, as he appears to be pulling a 4-car convoy of Panch, Roberts, and the rocketing Richard Petty, who has charged from 18th to 4th. Leroy Yarbrough cuts onto the grass to avoid contact. Johnny Allen's car grinds against the homestretch wall. It was masterful driving by Yarbrough and Allen, but now Allen, too, is through. Allen's wreck brings out a caution flag, and the field pits for gas and a change of outside tires. 3 didn't make the first pit stop. Wrecks have KO'd a top Pontiac, a top Plymouth, and a top Ford. The fickle finger of fate is playing no favorites. But what's this? Roberts, in his purple number 22, didn't come in. It gives him the lead. But what's his strategy? Apparently, he intends to go as far as he can without refueling. Another 15 laps or so, hoping this extra distance will mean he'll need one less pit stop for the entire 600 miles. Now Roberts pits. And it appears his strategy failed. A stripped lug bolt during a tire change keeps him stopped too long. It puts him 2 laps back of leader Johnson and the other front runners. Now everybody has pitted, and at the end of 75 laps, it's Johnson in a Chevy, Petty in a Plymouth, White in a Chevy, Lorenzen driving a Ford, Panch in a Ford, Weatherly and Wellborn, Pontiacs, Billy Wade in a Dodge, Matthews a Chevy, Lund in a Ford, and Pardue, Ford. But it's a day of quick-changing emotions. Petty, who moved to second place in 100 miles, is now a spectator. His car is dead. It's the blackest day in the 15-year racing history of the Petty team, which entered 3 cars in the $117,000 race. Jim Pascal was an early wreck casualty. Petty's car quit after 90 laps, and a faulty fuel pump sidelined Bob James at lap number 111. Meanwhile, the Chevy engine, which wasn't supposed to last, has Johnson still in front and White in second place. Then come 2 Fords, Lorenzen and Panch. Johnson, White, Lorenzen and Panch. Chevrolet, Chevrolet, Ford and Ford. The 4 cars are moving away from the field. Second pit stop time is near. But first, a funny thing happens to Johnson. For the only time when his car had a full head of steam, he's passed. White blasted by on lap number 101. But crew chief Louis Clements saw no humor in the situation, signaling White to use his head. So Johnson quickly reclaims the lead the next lap. Lorenzen also shot by White, now making it Johnson, Lorenzen, White, and Panch. And the 4 cars are sizzling with speed. 2 time-consuming caution flags, 2 pit stops, and Johnson's 200-mile average speed is 126.210 miles per hour. Then there were 3. Mechanical difficulty puts White back into the pits, and now only Johnson, Panch, and Lorenzen are in the same lap. Johnson still can't afford to loaf. The plucky Panch is on his bumper, and Lorenzen is 21 seconds back. Twice Panch has led the race, but each time his pit crew put him there. Now he seems determined to grab the lead himself. But then there were 2. Panch pulls out of the lead and out of contention on lap 216 with a lengthy pit stop to replace a burned-out wheel bearing. Johnson was left with more than a half-lap lead on Lorenzen. Third-place White is more than 2 miles back. As they near pit stop number 4, Lorenzen appears content to tag along 20 seconds behind. Now Johnson comes in, followed by Lorenzen. But Johnson's sitting still too long. Excessive oil smokes from Lorenzen's engine, but he is back on the track. At last, Johnson is out, but he trails Lorenzen by 11 seconds, considerably less than it would have been if Lorenzen, too, hadn't made a longer than usual stop. Now, it's Johnson with the job of catching up. If Lorenzen can stay in front, the first prize payoff will boost his 1963 earnings to $70,000, unheard of on the stock car circuit for a season. At lap 290, Johnson has cut the lead to 7 seconds. Two bachelors, the rugged-looking but soft-talking Johnson from the tiny mountain town of Klingman, and Lorenzen, the fair-skinned but loquacious big city boy from Charlotte. Both North Carolinians have one thing in common. They're Chargers. And barring unforeseen complications, it's truly going to be a duel of the swiftest the rest of the way. At lap 319, Johnson grabbed the lead, but he couldn't shake Lorenzen, who stays 1 second behind. Then into the pits. Lorenzen comes for what may be his last stop. Crew Chief Herb Knapp is ready to go to work. Now it's Leader Johnson's turn, probably his last stop. He takes on gas and changes outside rubber. Then the mountain man is off and still in the lead. Lorenzen, he lingered too long and lost valuable time, but now he's back out. The Ford Flyer gets the signal that he trails Johnson by 15 seconds. It's a huge deficit, especially when the man you're trying to catch is Johnson, considered by many the hardest Charger stock car racing has ever known. That's Lorenzen's lap teammate Roberts, right back of the chicken farmer. And that's Ray Fox, Johnson's boss, rocking with tension in the pits. But the gap is closing, and now there are 10 seconds between the two cars. The crowd's charged. Johnson's crew feels the excitement. And out of the background comes Ford Chief John Holman. The message for Lorenzen is, go! The grandstand buzzes as Lorenzen bullets around the track at better than 142 miles per hour. Now Johnson's instruction board reads, watch out for number 28. Johnson gets the message, but now 15 laps remain, and the Fleet Ford driven by Lorenzen trails by just 7 seconds. Only 28 miles are left in the grueling 600-mile grind. A Johnson crew member tries to soothe the runaway tension. Lorenzen is still trying to catch Johnson, and he's making more progress. The clock shows he's 5 seconds back with 10 laps to go. Will there be time? Herb Knapp chews the question over. And with 8 laps left, Lorenzen has scissored the gap to 4 seconds. The engine in the white Ford is working overtime. Can Johnson go the distance? And with just 6 laps remaining, it's still a 4-second difference between the two cars. The remaining machines may as well be forgotten. Fox watches his man Johnson breeze down the straightaway. Knapp gives his man the once-over. Now, all the crewmen and drivers can do is wait and hope. Anxiety bristles in Johnson's and Lorenzen's pits. Just 6 miles are left in this longest of stock car races, and the margin between the two cars is a tiny 3 seconds. Can Lorenzen overtake Johnson? The crowd jumps up. There's smoke trailing Johnson's car. He's blowing a tire. And there were only 4 miles to go. The Ford fans are cheering because their man Lorenzen appears to be home free. Johnson charges down pit road. Action is furious in his pit. The tire is replaced. A minimum of gas slopped into the tank. And he's back onto the track. But Johnson is almost 2 laps back of the whizzing white Ford. Lorenzen's getting closer and closer to what appears to be his first Charlotte victory. Out goes the white flag. Just 1 lap to go. But what's this? Lorenzen's coasting. Cars stream by him. He's out of gas, trying to coast the final mile. Cars continue to whistle past him. He's creeping down the home stretch. Lorenzen wins, and now he cuts across the infield apron to the golden ring. Tranquilizers, anyone? Lorenzen, his car, and the golden ring soon are swamped with jubilant Ford fans. What a finish, huh, Freddie?
It's unbelievable. I run over something at 200 miles. I was going to come in and park the car. I thought I blew an engine. I put it back in gear, and it went. 3 laps to go, I started running out of gas, and the last 2 laps, I was almost out. In the last lap, I got the white flag, the engine killed, and I coasted all the way around.
Now Lorenzen's out of his car, face smeared with grease and grime, and onto the hood where he's met by a big trophy and a famous little man. It's just another chapter in a success story titled Fred Lorenzen, $28,000 richer today and winner of $70,000 the first 5 months of 1963. And today, he nabbed the big one, Charlotte Motor Speedway's World 600, the longest and most lucrative of all stock car races. Sound, speed, spectacle, sensation, stars. The 4th annual World 600 had it all.